Hello and welcome to Cruising with a Disability. I'm your host, Sam Manessis.
New to our channel, or you just haven't done it already, please make sure you click the subscribe button and the little bell notification. That way YouTube will let you know every time we've uploaded a brand new video.
Hi, welcome to my channel. I appreciate you joining today. I hope that you will get something out of this channel, Cruising with a Disability. We're really here to explore the joy of cruising, experience what it's going to be like cruising with a disability, and certainly looking at what you can do to make it a worry-free experience. Today's topic is scooters. Many people have mobility issues that require them to use things like canes, walkers, wheelchairs, and maybe a scooter. Scooters are, after all, the fastest mode of transportation for someone with mobility issues. There are 5 things that people need to know when cruising and using a scooter. Let's take a look and see what those are. Cruise lines may have requirements on the scooter size. Scooter sizes must fit through the 22-inch wide doorway. They must fold and collapse, allowing for a safe exit. Guests with scooters larger than 21 inches wide or traveling with multiple scooters in the same stateroom must purchase a fully accessible room. This allows for a 32-inch wide doorway. If they're unable to do that, they would need to rent a smaller scooter. Scooters that don't fit in the staterooms will not be allowed on board. Guests unable to make alternate arrangements to rent a smaller scooter or travel without it will be denied boarding, and no compensation will be provided by the cruise company. Mobility devices cannot be stored in the corridor or in public areas, and guests may be required to have their scooter sized at the time of check-in to ensure that it fits in the stateroom. All the major cruise lines do have a scooter company that you can rent scooters from. This also goes with a wheelchair if you need it. So you'll want to look or check in with your cruise company to see who they use. I will put a description in the comments below with all of that information for the major cruise lines. Know that you can pick up those scooters or wheelchairs there at the terminal. That's usually where it is. You want to make sure that you schedule that early in advance. That is really key so that you ensure that you get a scooter that's going to meet your needs. Again, most of these companies have an online scheduling process, so make sure that you look into that and get that completed. So the third thing to think about when cruising with a disability is that most cruise lines do not have a designated elevator for a scooter or wheelchair. So you'll want to make sure that you're making arrangements for that. The busiest times are typically during meal times. They are also usually pretty busy when you're embarking or disembarking at one of the ports. So just be prepared. There are a few tricks of the trade that you can do to ensure that you have a little easier access or getting onto the elevator. One of the ways really is just to be assertive. So you'll want to just say, "Hey, I need to get on this elevator." Most people will be very accommodating, but sometimes they do kind of forget about you. So just be assertive politely. Second thing that you can do really is to take the elevator in the opposite direction uh, of where you want to go. So if you're trying to get down to the dining room, you're on an upper floor, then you might need to catch the elevator going up and then come back down to the appropriate dining room floor. Um, that is a great trick that we used when we went. That's going to be a trick that we use if we use a scooter next time. But it is a great way to make sure that you're able to get onto uh, the elevator. Number four. So, the fourth thing that you need to really consider when booking a cruise is getting a accessible room. If you're really looking to get an accessible room, then you probably need to get in contact with the cruise line. They typically have a guests with disabilities department or team that you can work with to ensure that you get onto the list so that you get a accessible stateroom. Um, these rooms do book quickly, so you'll want to make sure that you get that done as quickly as possible. Sometimes you have to do that very far in advance. It's usually recommended. Um, if the cruise line does by chance have a non-disabled individual in a room, then they may be able to bump that person for somebody that does have a disability. So it's very important that you do talk to that specialized team for the cruise line. They'll help you out tremendously. If you have or use a travel agent, which I highly recommend, make sure that you use that person to get your needs met. Number five. So the fifth thing that I really want to talk about is caregivers. So it's great that you might be traveling with a disability, but you might have a loved one with you, or you might be the loved one of somebody with a disability that you're traveling with. So if you're that individual, if you're that caregiver, make time for yourself. Take time to get away. Maybe your friend or your family member needs to rest. Take advantage of that time. Go out and do something. One thing that we learned is that our daughter, who is really the one that had the scooter this year, uh, she had moments where she just wanted to rest or maybe even sleep in. So my wife and I really learned from that. We decided towards the end of the cruise, is actually when we learned it, uh, that we could take advantage of that time. So we would go out to the pool, we would go out maybe for breakfast, um, just the two of us, and enjoy that time. I encourage you, if you're a caregiver, to enjoy your time as well. It's great that you're spending time with your loved one. Make sure that you take care of their needs, but also take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, who's going to be there to take care of your loved one? Each month, I hope to bring a highlight to specific disabilities, conditions, medical conditions, diseases, really bring attention to those conditions out there that impede people from traveling freely. Um, One of those organizations or groups is the MS Society. So we have two children, two adult children with MS. And so we've learned a whole lot, but we've had a lot of support with that. So we have worked in the past with the Pediatric MS Alliance, their group that specialize because kids get MS too. And that is really an education that we're trying to promote, particularly with doctors and parents when they have a child that may have MS. The second group that we have worked with very closely is Oscar the MS Monkey. Great organization, great person that heads that up. I encourage you to learn more about them. And then lastly, the National MS Society. So I have a video for you here at the end in just a moment. I ask that you watch it all the way through, see some of the wonderful kids that have had MS, that are not limited by MS, that still go out and do their great things. They're becoming great adults. Um, Look and see what you can do to support these organizations. At the very end of the video, I have a little bit of information on what or where you can contact these organizations if you want to support them. So thank you for watching my video. Remember to like this video and like my channel. Thanks.